Hello everyone, today we're going to be exploring and unlocking the secret to soft lighting. Light can be classified generally into two types, hard light and soft light. For example, the sun is a very hard light, creating harsh, defined shadows. On the other hand, windows are generally soft sources of light, creating smooth and pleasant lighting. In the world of filmmaking, I believe there are many incorrect ideas of what makes a light soft. For example, putting a small piece of diffusion directly in front of a light, moving a light further away from a subject, or simply dimming the light. Those are a few examples of what I've seen. But what I hope to accomplish in this video is helping us understand what makes a light softer, along with providing practical examples. The first idea I want to debunk is that of simply putting a small piece of diffusion in front of a light source. Let's take a look at this example. Here I have my subject being lit by a small light panel and nothing on the light. Now let's add the small white silicone diffusion cover that came with the light. Notice that even though we added diffusion to the light, that the quality of the light is not much softer than before. And if we increase the brightness of the light, the shadows appear as hard as they would without the cover. The only thing this cover really does is lower the intensity of the light. So simply putting a small piece of diffusion in front of the light is not going to make your light source much softer. Let's move on to the next idea. Let's talk about the distance of the light from the subject. I have seen some people try to make a light softer by just moving the light further away from the subject. Let's look at some examples of why this is actually the opposite of what should be done. Let's use the same little light panel as before. In this first example, the light is as close to the subject as possible without being in the frame of the shot. In this next shot, the light is about arm's distance away from the subject. And in this third shot, the light is across the room about 4 paces away. So as you can see, the light that is closest to the subject has the softest shadows, whereas the light that is furthest away has the hardest, most defined shadows. We'll get to this more when I reveal the secret formula to softer light here in a few minutes. Now for the final debunk, dimming the light to make it softer. This one will be quick because, like we saw in the first example, adding the silicone diffuser lowered the intensity of the light, but didn't really affect the shadows or the softness of the light. So looking real quick at some examples, the light is the same distance away, but in the shot on the left, the light is set to 50%, and in the shot on the right, the light is set to 10%. Now, if I adjust the exposure after the fact to brighten the 10% shot, we can see that the shadows are nearly identical. So with those ideas debunked, let's take a look at what actually makes a light softer. Let's start with the size of the light source. For these examples, I'll be using my Nanlite Forza 60 LED light. So let's start with the light on its own with the reflector dish it came with attached. As you can see, the light is very hard and creates a lot of shadows. That is because the light is a very small source, about the size of a quarter, and about 5.5 inches with the dish attached. Now, let's take a 5-in-1 diffuser disc and place that at the same distance as the light. Then move the light back to fill in the shape of the disc. Now the original source of the light is still small, but the diffuser disc becomes the new source of light for the subject. And since the disc is 57 times bigger than the reflector dish on the light, and 1,650 times bigger than the actual LED chip, the light becomes much softer. This is why large softboxes are becoming more and more popular, because they make the light source much bigger. But then why is the sun such a hard source of light if it is much bigger than all of these? Let's answer that in the second part of the formula. For the second part of the formula, we'll start by taking the same setup from the previous example and just moving it closer to the subject. This is the second key to getting soft light, getting the light source as close to the subject as possible. This is why the sun is such a hard light source. Even though the sun is giant, the distance from the Earth causes it to be a much smaller source relative to the Earth. So, to sum up the secret formula to soft lighting, big light sources closer to the subject equals soft lighting. And there you have it. The secret formula to soft lighting revealed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you consider subscribing for future videos. And help YouTube know that you liked this video by hitting the like button down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.